I like this track. It's very video gamey. I feel like I'm in a video game right now. Maybe this is just all some sort of simulation. Okay, seriously, one of the headlines in the news is a man got stabbed at a Popeyes over a chicken sandwich. Like, really? I mean, come on. No, right? That's not real, right? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the hell you are, people. It's been about 10 days since I've streamed. A lot of stuff. It's just been a whirlwind of stuff going on. Welcome. It's nice to see you. Nice to hear from you. Blow up my chat room. Yell at me. I really don't care. I'm going in so many different directions right now between my personal life and my kids and work and crypto and all of these other amazing projects and people I'm meeting all over the world. It's just been overwhelming. Just like exponentially, I feel like I'm not only growing as a human, but it's taking every ounce of all of the good stuff in my life, right? All of the stuff I try to focus on to combat the bad things in my life and the nonstop inundation of shit that I run into basically everywhere I go, it seems like, not only on the internet, right? But just everywhere. I mean, it's interesting. You know, one of the questions that I saw on Twitter this morning too was about what would you label the last decade as? And I said, well, it feels like a launch pad, right? It feels like a transition or a prelude to something else. I don't know what that something else is, but I'm scared and optimistic at the same time, right? I'm scared because there's people out in this world that are capitalizing and literally just crushing those who don't see the big picture, right? I'm not gonna sit up here and bitch about corporations and rich people and all of this other garbage, but I did get in a little spat that I definitely have to talk about, right? I mean, Team Pulte and Camp Pulte, I know you guys are watching me, so good morning. I know I've probably already been doxxed and you guys know who I am. I'm not hard to find. I had a little spat, and the only reason I'm even involved with you creeps is because you guys went after a good friend of mine, you know, James Tylee, who is just a flat out good dude, right? And now you're starting to mess with some crypto people who, you know, we don't need your money, right? We're not scared of you. You can do whatever you want to do, man. But the fact of the matter is, Bill Pulte, you're a giant fraud. Right? And if you want to come do whatever you want to do because I choose to say that, then do what you got to do, man. But people like Pulte are the worst kind of people, right? Because they're using this positive message and literally scamming poor people. I mean, that's just like, you know, a millionaire picking on poor people is the worst kind of person, in my opinion, right? This guy is literally data mining, you know, anyone that sends him a tweet or an email. They're literally, you know, taking all of the data out of your Twitter profile, email address. I'm sure they're grabbing pictures, data, whatever they can find on you, information, looking at your feed, and then they're selling that, right? All that stuff's worth money, guys. If you haven't figured that out with all the Facebook scandals and all of this other bullshit that's going on in the world right now, at least when you sign up for Facebook, you have to click the disclaimer, right? When there's some legal mumbo jumbo 3 pages down at the bottom that says they can use your data for whatever you want. Pulte's not doing that, right? Pulte is broadcasting himself as a philanthropist, someone who gives away something without expecting anything in return. Well, that's not what he's doing. He's running a contest, right? Where he is running this contest for profit, right? Meaning he is making money off of it. That is not philanthropy. If you want to make people sign a disclaimer for your contest, right, that you are literally data mining the hell out of them and selling that data for profit, right, and you want to make it legal, then go for it. But again, you're barking up the wrong tree here, man. You start messing with crypto people and claiming that you're into Bitcoin and decentralization, which is a giant, load of shit. And everyone, right, who knows something about you, which I do, and cryptocurrency, which I also do, knows that you're a giant piece of shit. So again, I apologize for, getting off track or whatever it is. All of this seems to be related to me now, right? It's about standing up for people who are unable to stand up for themselves or are just misinformed, right? And I know it's very difficult for some people to think upon those terms, but we all need to understand, and it's up to all of us to educate people, right? Data is the most valuable resource on the planet, guys. It's not gold, it's not Bitcoin, it's not dollars, right? It's not rare earth metals. It's your data, right? Your data is worth money, okay? It's for sale out on the open market. There's probably a good chance that your personal information is for sale out there somewhere as well. And it might not be worth a ton, but once you data mine millions and millions of people and you add that all together, it's actually worth a lot of money. And we just went through this whole thing again with, these companies like Google and Facebook that have become completely out of control, right? Now we have all of these riots in the world and literally just, it seems like the world's on fire. Meanwhile, guys like Pulte are hiding in plain sight, claiming to be the philanthropists that are literally just raping these poor people. And again, I feel terrible. I've read some of those stories. There's an awful lot of people out in the world that need a lot of help, guys. You know what I mean? And there really is. And there's a lot of terrible stories. I can't even imagine being Pulte and going through millions of those and reading them, right? I can't even imagine what that's like, but I don't claim to, right? And I also don't claim to be a philanthropist like he is, right? Now, I actually am, but I don't go on Twitter and expect something in return, right? And people like James Tiley, they take that shit very seriously because you start throwing that word around, right? And then you look on Twitter and literally we got into a spat last night with another quote unquote philanthropist. You don't have to look very far. They're everywhere on Twitter, quote unquote, giving stuff away for free. Well, come on, guys. There are no free lunches, guys. Even if some of these guys give a few hundred people some money on Twitter, think about the millions and millions of people that Pulte has data mined, right? I mean, it's insane. So again, I'm not trying to hate on the man. He's a genius. And I know he's got a lot of resources and, Team Pulte's all up my ass right now, right? Because I've spoke out against him. Well, guess what? That's not going to stop. So again, you guys can do what you got to do because I'm only speaking the truth. And all we're trying to do is make your product better and call it what it is, right? You're running a contest. It's not philanthropy. So if you guys have any questions about that, or you'd like to get involved in it, it's pretty easy to do. Just go look up hashtag #PulteScam on Twitter and you're going to see thousands of people, talking about how they didn't even do anything other than follow the man. And now they're starting to receive, emails from his other interests, right? From the other companies, his housing company, which is hilarious too, because this guy was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He's not like the rest of us who came from nothing, right? And he thinks he can just run all over people because no one cares about poor people, right? No one cares about indigent people, people with problems, right? Well, that's not true, okay? And his time's coming to an end. At least running this thing the way it is. Now, I don't know if he's just tired, and he probably is, right? I mean, eventually guys like this get caught due to their own arrogance or ignorance. And, again, I'm not going to make any comments. I'm not trying to threaten anybody. The only reason I'm even involved in this is because he started coming after, people that I know are for real, right? And I know he's a giant fraud, right? Everything that the guy's running is fraudulent. I don't know if he's really, got money or not. I really don't care. I know that there's, some huge lawsuits against his housing company right now because they've been building houses in Florida for the last 10 years that literally are fucking falling apart, right? And he just got slapped with an $80 million lawsuit that he has to settle. So maybe he's trying to reinvent himself as a quote unquote philanthropist right now. I don't really know. If all my money was tied up into these, real estate companies, I might be a little worried too if I were him. So you can read between the lines on that stuff if you want to. But again, I just wanted to give my little good morning shout to Team Pulte, and I know you guys will be a little bit surprised. You probably already know, who I am. I really don't give a damn. So do what you guys got to do, because you're not putting a muzzle on me. I'm going to jump in and look at the Bitcoin charts here. I know everybody's freaking out. So let's move over. This was just the kind of top line that we drew, like worst case, off of that 10K jump from 7,400. So I left those lines alone. These lines are just like basic mean lines, not volume weighted. If there's any symbols or any stocks or altcoins you guys want to look at, let me know. I'm not looking at viewers or viewer count or anything today. I just kind of wanted to get some of this stuff on video so we can kind of see how the rest of the week progresses. Money flow is at the bottom here. So, this is what I've been watching the last week and why I've been drawing bullish charts. This is still trending up, guys. So, that's a bullish trend on the money flow, and I'm not going to call it anything but that. Now, obviously, this trend line is something we're going to need to break if we're going to actually break out. That trend line looks a little different depending on how you draw it, but that's something we're definitely watching. The Bollinger Bands aren't really, they're still pretty spread out, trading above the mean. This 10K range is going to be something we'll watch. If you do zoom out on the weekly, you can see we did, have this big move down on the money flow. And again, this is money flow. I know you can't see it because my webcam's on top of it, but it's just MFI, money flow index. I guess I could drag it up top. There you go. Big move up, big move down. Now we're starting to look at a trend change. It's moving back on the weekly, but if that continues up, that's what we'll look at for more bullish moves and tests of that 10K. If we come back down, we'll reevaluate when that happens. But I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. So let's see what it looks like on this chart. Same type of thing on the weekly. I consider that candle, a possible reversal, and the fact that we're hovering along this line, and we're just gonna have to kind of wait and see if it reacts with that trend line up top. But we're not out of the woods yet. Obviously we're gonna need to break out. We start setting some new highs again. I'll get a little bit more bullish, but still a lot of red. there have been some things moving the last few days in the altcoin world. And again, I'm happy to look at any of those if you guys would like to look at some. We'll jump in and look at the ETH Bitcoin chart, right? And this is what I'm considering to be affecting the large majority of the ETH tokens and basically anything linked to Ethereum that's been on this year-long descent, right? So we'll be watching for a breakout or a change in that trend. Still, gonna make its next test here, which I would be considering to happen in the next week or so, maybe even the next couple of days. Let's see what the daily looks like. Yeah. So we will keep eyes on that. The engine chart still looks pretty much the same. I don't really need a money flow on that, but if you're holding those tokens or participating in any of those, hopefully that's bottoming out and changing trends. Still not much volume on that though, so I wouldn't be in any hurry to, throw a bunch of resources at something like that. BNB did spike back up, trading around 20 bucks a share, or I'm sorry, a share. 20 bucks a coin right now. So, maybe we found a bottom on the old BNB. Again, though, I'm not participating in Binance right now. As a person in the United States, I'm kind of shell shocked by what the hell I'm supposed to be doing from an exchange standpoint right now. Honestly, I can just buy Bitcoin versus whatever means I want to. Cash App's super easy. I know that there is argument on both sides of the fence about the know your customer stuff on Cash App, but it certainly is easy. And at this point, I don't know that I really care. I'm willing to report whatever to government. Like, hey, I've got Bitcoin. I'll pay you your taxes or whatever at this point, because it just seems like the choices and the availability for the United States right now on cryptocurrency is going the opposite way that it should be. Right, we should be harnessing this technology and using it, to benefit our country. But I guess our government, like many huge entities, is just not real fast to react to some of those things. So keep an eye on that. But again, I'm not really participating in much of that. There was a move on Tezos, which I don't think I have tracks, but that ended up on Coinbase and had a pretty big move in the last couple of days. So we'll go look at it. It's actually got a Coinbase chart now. Look at that. I guess that's what you wanted to see if you're holding those tokens. It ended up on Coinbase, and you can actually go out there if you're doing the Coinbase Earn program, which I think they base that on basically, if you spent money on Coinbase or not. They'll let you participate in the Earn programs, and then you can just watch a video and take a little quiz to earn some free tokens. I did that one for Tezos yesterday. Of course, I should have sold it up here, but obviously a big volume spike, and we'll keep that one on the radar. We were kind of talking about opportunities on altcoins and that sort of thing, and obviously, Bitcoin's a risky investment from a short-term standpoint as well, but altcoins are even riskier. So just remember, always preach responsible finance. Put my disclaimer in there. I am not an advisor, right? Cryptocurrency represents a small portion of my overall portfolio. I'm happy to, be fully transparent about any of that stuff if you guys have any questions. Excuse me just a second, because I'm about to sneeze. I have not looked at the dollar Tezos. I might as well throw that on here as well. So on ramps, Coinbase, that's probably going to be a good bet that the tokens and stuff that are on Coinbase are going to be part of whatever next run, just because it's easy to go out there and buy it, right? It represents probably a large majority of retail investors, especially in the United States, because it's quick and easy to use. And anyone who thinks that a quick and easy use user interface doesn't have an impact on what people buy is sorely mistaken. So I realize that a lot of us, a lot of the hardcore crypto people just can't stand know your customer, and those are for very good reasons. However, uh, you know, it's sure a heck of a lot easier to go out and Cash App and push a few buttons than it is to go out to your local Bitcoin site and go meet somebody up, to purchase some Bitcoin, and a heck of a lot less dangerous too. So those are risks and tolerances that all of us are just going to have to evaluate for ourselves. If you're not comfortable with the government knowing that you're holding some Bitcoin, then you probably don't want to sign up for know your customer. As soon as you give somebody your information, just know you're on a database somewhere. If that makes you feel uncomfortable about it, so be it. Those are decisions that you'll just have to make for yourself. But obviously, if you guys want to chat about that or have any questions about any of that stuff, I'm always available. I'm not going to look at any stocks. I don't even want to talk about corporations right now. I'm actually in a pretty good mood this morning, but there was a lot of Boeing news. And I just, the CEO of Boeing, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. My brain's not firing on all cylinders, but he basically came out and said that, he was making $30 million a year or whatever this year and hadn't planned on giving away any of his salary. They were fined and settled with the 346 people that died in the last two plane crashes because of their gross negligence, and the money ends up being 150 grand a person. There's so many things wrong with that. I don't even know where to start. But this is the Boeing chart. This is the unweighted mean, right? So this is the low range, high range, and this is kind of the mean of that range right now. Again, that's not volume weighted, and we'll go look at some adjusters that maybe are someday. But I haven't really been messing with any volume weighted adjusters. I've just been drawing average lines on some of these things, and look how that works out. I mean, clearly, that is, it's a line that's being respected, right? And is that because of algorithms and robots? I don't know. Probably, right? So much of trading is automated these days. I don't even know what the percentage is, but it's got to be insane at this point because, the old school pit floor traders, they're a dying breed, ladies and gentlemen. And if anybody doesn't believe that, you might want to go read into some of that stuff because the future is just all automated. I mean, everything's automated. Even the Amazon, right? We got into the Amazon discussion. I haven't even looked at that chart. I don't want to. I'm not even gonna pull it up. I might go look at some of these other banks though, because let's look at PulteGroup real quick too. So I drew this short chart, and of course it's like rebounding back today, but that does kind of look like it might have topped out. So maybe he knows something, right? Maybe he's trying to dump his stock after it's been inflated so that he can reinvent himself as a Twitter philanthropist and come back and make this $80 million that his company lost. I don't know, but that's not a good looking trend. If I was PulteGroup right now, I'd probably be looking to dump some of that. So what do I know, right? I'm just an analyst. Oh, it's fun reading between the lines though. Guys like him that are entitled and basically have just been given everything their entire lives. You start taking some stuff away from them, and it's interesting how they react. Ethereum, not going to look at. Litecoin, no reason to, unless anybody want to. Link, Bitcoin. Still honoring this 27,000 line. Looks like we're going to go test that again. I wouldn't be in a rush either way on that one. Obviously, a trend's still up, from an overall standpoint. So keep an eye on that. It looks like ZRX on the USD chart is holding around that 30-cent line. So consider this a deviation on this current range. And that is the exact middle of that range, high and low. Bitcoin chart looks like it's planning on doing some consolidation at this level. just looking at it from a zoom out. This was interesting. And this is Ripple US dollar. We made this nice run up, and now they're at the convention doing, and I forgot the name of the Ripple convention. And then it, of course, there's a 10% move down, but that's still, some upward movement. We'll watch this 32-cent line on the USD chart. Matter of fact, let's draw a line there now, because that seems to be where it's topped out. Let's see what else we got here. I don't think we need to look at Doge or Digibyte. The Raven chart pretty much looks exactly like Edge, other than this little spike up. We'll go ahead and look at the dollar. All right, so not hard to see that trend, right? I mean, clearly moving on up. So we were watching this move down as a possible break and trend on this, what would be considered a trend line right here. And now it seems to be moving back up, so we'll just keep an eye on that. But this is basically, the dollar weighted currency index. So this is going to have a lot of effects on Forex. The theme has been the stronger dollar all year. So it was, I was definitely watching closely at the possibility of it weakening, definitely against, other currencies like CNY that have made this rebound. But Forex is very much its own world. So, we'll definitely keep an eye on that. And that's got a lot to do with other things too, trade talks and what's going on a macroeconomic level right now in the world. Weaker dollar, affects imports as well as a stronger dollar.